Hello, welcome to Cataclysm Quick Tip number 46, where I'm going to discuss reinforcing and accurizing items. Now in Cataclysm University Course 23, I went over in detail how to repair, refit, and reinforce clothing items, and I want to make just a couple of quick comments about that process before I move on to the main portion of this particular episode's focus. So we're hanging out at the local railroad station here, and I've got a number of items on the ground next to me. I wanted to mention first that you always want to use the best tool you have available when you're going to go ahead and modify clothing. So here are the common tools that are used for this. They would be the wooden needle, the sewing kit, and the tailor's kit. If you have multiple different tools, always use the best one possible because they do have a significant impact on the success chance for whatever you're trying to do. So the tailor's kit is the most effective. Use that as a preference. You'll have the highest level of success. Sewing kit would be the next step down, and then the wooden needle would be the last choice. So there is a verifiable, distinct difference in your success rate by using the better tool. So always try to do that. And in addition, they have additional features and functions that each tool is capable of. So just use the best tool. Now the next thing I wanted to mention is shown in an example of these two shirts directly above me. Notice how this one says just dress shirt. This one says dress shirt poor fit. Now this is the standard now in the game. So they flipped the way that the fitting tag works. In the past they would indicate fitted after you had specifically modified a piece of clothing to fit your body shape. Now the default tag is poor fit, and it shows the normal name when you have it fitted. So it's a bit confusing, but I wanted to point out that they have changed that whole process in just the way that it is listed on the description. It makes no difference in the process to how to refit things. It's just what the initial tags are going to look like. The clothing that you find in the game now will show poor fit by default generally. Then once you've modified it, it will just list the name of the item without any kind of fitted or fitting message. Alright, so let's move on to the other items that I actually wanted to discuss in this particular episode. So in addition to refitting, resizing, and reinforcing clothing, you can do something similar with weapons and other items in the game. So these are probably a little lesser well known, and I wanted to bring attention to the possibility. So let's first talk about guns. So there is an item in the game, the Gunsmith Repair Kit, that you can use to do a process called accurizing your gun. If we go ahead and pick up the Gunsmith Repair Kit, I'm going to grab one of these guns. These are identical. They're both L39B, the Leadworks 45 caliber pistols with 12 rounds in the magazine. I'm just going to grab this one. We're going to then activate the Gunsmith Repair Kit. We're going to say to repair the gun. We're going to pick the one in my hand. And it says here, you accurize your L39B-45. Now, I'm going to pick up the second gun, and I'm going to use the compare command. That's just the capital I key. We're going to pick both of these, and notice that the one that I have accurized now has the ++ symbol, just like clothing would have. And we're going to compare the information on these two. So, we have accurized the one on the left, right there, and what we're looking for here is any differences in the statistics. So by accurizing, what have we done or what have we gained? Well, primarily, it's this right here. If you look at the damage, is now 36 versus 30. And we've also got 310 plus 50 versus 340 plus 50. So this is good. Dispersion lower is better. So that's why it's listed in green. So it has less dispersion value and it has greater damage value just by accurizing that item. So it has also used up some of the items in the repair kit. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the Gunsmith Repair Kit. So you can see all the details here, and it uses 25 charges of battery power per use, has a maximum of 500 charges. So it's just battery power to use the various tools to accurize your weapon. There are skill limitations, so if it's not allowing you to accurize the gun, probably you're just not quite high enough in skill and you want to work on that. Alright, so that's one example. That is these two guns that we've accurized there. Next up, let's take a look at a melee weapon. So melee weapons are typically made of iron and steel and such, and you want to use a soldering iron. I believe a welding rig would also be able to do this, but we're going to go ahead and pick up this soldering iron here. I'm going to grab a katana. We're going to activate the soldering iron, repair the katana specifically. And you'll notice here it says reinforcing. So similar to the messages that we'll get when we're doing clothing, we get the reinforcing message and a success chance. I've got this particular character set with 10 in all skills, so the numbers may vary wildly based on your particular skill level at the time you try to do this and the weapon you're using and so on. So just be aware that there are skill limits, and the higher the skills, or the skill requirements, and the higher your skill, the better off your success chance is going to be, of course. I'm going to go ahead and say to repeat until success, failure, or level up. You'll notice here it says your ++ katana is already enhanced to its maximum potential. You make your katana extra sturdy. That's what we wanted. We're going to do the same thing as before. We're going to compare these two, the original plus the new one. So the ++ version and the base katana. And if we take a look at our information here, what we're looking for is the cut number. So cut 34 versus cut 31. So that's basically the benefit for improving, accurizing, or reinforcing guns and melee weapons, is you get a couple of improvements, usually about 10% to the stats for the damage ratio. We also got the dispersion bonus on the gun, but that's what you want to look for. It's very beneficial. It's a fairly significant bonus for a very small price that you have to pay and whatever raw materials that the repair kit or such uses. So in this case, soldering irons and the repair kit both use battery charges, but there may be a requirement that you need patches or scrap metal and so on, so be aware of that. Now let's move on to the last thing that I wanted to mention that I think is not very well known at all. So over here we have a storage battery and a 32-inch armored wheel. Did you know you can actually upgrade these? You can reinforce these items to give them better protection values. Now, to do this, they have to be dismounted from the vehicle. You can't do it from inside the vehicle menu once they've been installed. But if you remove them from the vehicle, or if you have not yet installed them, you can go ahead and grab the item, activate your soldering iron, repair, select the storage battery. It will give you the reinforcing message. And you can see our storage battery now has the ++ designation for additional protection value. It won't show anything here, but when you examine it, you'll see the ++ indicator, and the same thing could be done for armored wheels. Alright, and we have now made our 32-inch armored wheel extra sturdy. So it's going to have the extra level of damage protection, or extra hit points essentially. When it takes damage, it'll have an extra point for that, and they'll last longer. So if you've got the tools and the time and the materials, I would recommend you go ahead and do this when you're modding up your Apocalypse Deathmobile. As always, I hope you found this information helpful and useful. Please let me know in the comments down below, or visit my Discord channel. Let me know what you think, or if you have any ideas for future episodes. Your support is greatly appreciated, and stay safe out there.